Arcol, on to it. Oh, okay, I guess we're on to, yep. We're on to the technological side of things, which, someone gave me this one, which was on, not, the New York Times, which I don't have a membership of, but thank you! Emily Small. Engineers in Japan are trying to get robots to imitate particular expressions. Let me real quickly pull it up, at least so you can see the picture of it. At least the way it is in... Okay, oh, okay. Nope. That's what we're gonna do, are we? Okay. I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna do this. Okay, I hope you can see this before it decides to be a bitch. That's how this is gonna work, right? God damn it. See, god damn it. My mind's having a moment. Why is it showing that one? See if I can get images in a different way. That. Oh, I even have movement on this one. Why don't we do both those? Including this press release, but this is the... Engineers in Japan are trying to get robots to imitate that particular human expression, the smile. They have created a face mask from human skin cells and attached it to robots with a novel technique that conceals the binding, and it's flexible enough to turn down in a grimace or if it's squishy. The effect is something between Hannibal Lecter's terrifying mask and the claymation figure Gumby. But scientists say the prototypes paved the way for more sophisticated robots because Japanese people and their robots. My expression, I don't know if my character is getting the quite expression that I'm having, but yeah, sure. Paved the way for sophisticated robots with the Detroit human vocal expression. Okay. With the outward layer both elastic and durable enough to protect the machine while making it appear more human. Uncanny Valley. Beyond expressiveness, the skin equivalent, as the researchers call it, which is made from living skin cells in a lab, can scar, burn, and also heal. According to the study, is this provided to humans too? In the sense of if it can heal, scar... Sal reports physical science. Human-like faces and expressions improve communication and empathy in human robot. Why though? Interactions. I beg to differ. I'm quite sure any small, like, little cute fluffy thing robot, I will be just as empathy and communication than anything else. Effective in healthcare, service, and command. One of the other things that Tokyo, I think University of Tokyo or one of them did was, since they have such an aging population, they had this little, I guess, robot that interacted with the elderly that was cute and fluffy and was actually getting interactions with even the residents that were most would like wouldn't really interact any other way, in the sense of one of the ladies was really kind of fussy and would side-eye people who were using the robot, but she would find points by which the robot was alone and baby it. So say Shoji Takeuchi, a professor at the University of Tokyo, and the study's lead researcher said in an email, "The research comes as robots become more ambiguous on the factory floors. But it's on the factory floor. Why though? I can understand interacting in other ways. Well, I mean, they've made lambs born in artificial wombs. But Japan already has, like, leading sex robot kind of thing, so... There were 3.9 million industrial robots working on auto and electric... Though, to be fair, I wouldn't mind having a robot boyfriend. Or android. Mainly because I can't really interact with real humans anyway, so... At least not well in real life. Other work settings in 2022. Sorry, there are 3.9 million industrial robots working on auto and electronic assembly lines and other work settings in 2022. According to the International Federation of Robots, a subset of the total robot stock includes so-called humanoids, machines designed with 2 arms and 2 legs to enable them to work in environments that were built for human workers, such as factories, but also hospitality. I think that you're using too much materials if you want to have 2 arms and 2 legs. I mean, you could do it differently. But also in hospitality, healthcare, and education. Karsten here, a Federation spokesman, said that the humanoids were an exciting area of development. I mean, why would you have legs if it wouldn't walk too far? I mean, wouldn't, like, wheels be quicker? Sorry. This is like sitting there going and saying, as much as I find Gundams amazing and cool to look at, they're very impractical. Absolutely impractical. Especially as, like, an animation major. One of the things the way that they describe trying to, doing animation cycles as walking is controlled falling. Seriously. Okay. Humanoids were an exciting area of development, but mass market adoption would be complex and could be constrained by costs. I mean, how much is a sex doll? That be a sex robot dog? Still, in October 2023, the Chinese government announced the goal of mass producing humanoids by 2025, which would greatly increase the industrial... Yeah, but the thing is, what it is going to be replacing us. But the other point is, in the past, there were, of course, sci-fi stories that talked about replacing us with, robots, but the argument was that, humans would have more leisure time. But what's the reality of, especially with capitalism and all this other stuff, is humans have to, A, compete with it, and B, have even less leisure time because of the way that money works in this society, rather than the other way around. Alright. Okay, fine. For decades, robotic... Okay, I might need to clean my mouse again. Robotic engineers have experimented with materials, hoping to find something that could both protect the robot's complex machinery, but be soft and light enough for a wide range of uses. Yeah, say a wide range of uses. You know, breasts, certain thing. Sex toys. If the surface of a robot gets dinged or scratched, it can lead to the machine malfunction. Well, I don't know. The surface of a human gets dinged or scratched can lead to a human malfunction. Making the capacity for self-repair a crucial feature for human robots. Oh, definitely. Researchers said in the paper. The novel skin attachment methods advances the nascent field of biohybrid robots, which integrates mechanical engineering with genetic and tissue engineering. Kevin Lynch, of the director of Center for Robotics and Biosystems in Northwestern University. This study is an innovative contribution to the problem of anchoring artificial skin to the underlying material. I mean, maybe, yeah, it will help robots, but also might help humans with trying to get, like, artificial skin if they're gonna, like, if it's damaged enough. Because what happens right now, if I remember correctly, with, like, skin damage and all this other stuff, is they take skin from other locations to graft it on. For burns or, like, damaged skin and stuff. Well, this will help humans as well. The study is an innovative contribution to the problem of anchoring artificial skin to the underlying material, Professor Lynch said, adding that living skin may help us achieve the holy grail of self-healing skins and hybrid robots. I mean, also for humans to some degree. Maybe faster. He added the study does not address how the robot's skin will self-heal without external support. For such robots, the material's challenge extends to verisimilitude, finding ways to imbue the machine with characteristics that make it appear and behave more like a human, such as the ability to smile. Scientists including Professor Takeuchi and his colleagues at the University of Tokyo have been working with lab-made human skin for years. In 2022, the research team developed a robotic finger covered in living skin, allowing the machine's digit to bend like a human finger. We can make sex jokes with that too. Bend like a human finger. Hit the G-spot. Why don't I'm going away now. Giving it the tactility to potentially perform more precise tasks. Professor Takeuchi's team has tried anchoring the skin with mini hooks, but those caused tears as the robot moved. So the team decided to mimic ligaments, the tiny ropes of loose tissue that connect bones. Team members drilled small V-shaped holes into the robot. And applied a gel containing collagen, which plugged the holes and tethered the artificial skin to the robot. This approach integrates traditional rigid robots with soft biological skin, making them more human-like. Wai Fan Wang, an assistant professor at the School of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering at Nanyang Technical University in Singapore, who researches soft robots that mimic biological creatures. The skin binding also gives a biohybrid robot the potential for sensation. Yes! Potential for sensation. Okay, I know I'm teasing about this, but no, sensation would be needed because, especially with grip strength and all this other stuff, if you don't want to break something when holding it, to be able to do sensation like that. Yep, grip strength. Don't want to, you know. Yeah, the fingertip sensors. Yeah. Let's say, because it's just, you have to make sure you don't break if you're trying to fix something. This would create opportunities for the robot to sense and safely interact with humans. The faces of the robots with artificial skin in Professor Uchi's lab do not have the capability to sense touch or temperature change or other external stimuli. But don't those sensors are more of, let's say, an electrical thing? So you have to make sure that the electrical signals aren't interrupted or interfere with the skin itself. Professor Takayuki says that is his next research target. We aim to create skin that closely mimics the functionality of real skin by gradually constructing essential components such as blood vessels, nerves. Well, nerves are electrical. That's what I was trying to get at. Nerves are electrical pulses within the skin, but sweat glands, sebaceous glands, and hair follicles. Come on! In place of the neural systems to convey sensation in a human body, the robot's electronics would need to power a sensor signal. A development that Professor Wang said would require much more time and research. Okay, here's the press release for it. Okay. So we get the... I hate that that's the way that's pulling! Don't make the... I don't know if... It's looking pretty moist to me, if you ask me. Researchers have found a way to bind engineered skin tissues to the complex forms of the human robots. Okay. Alright. This brings the potential benefits of robotic platforms such as increased mobility, self-healing abilities, embedded sensing capabilities, and an increased lifelike appearance. Taking inspiration from human ligaments, the team, led by Professor Shoji Takushi of the University of Tokyo, included special perforations in the robotic face, which help a layer of skin take hold. Their research could be useful in the cosmetics industry, yeah, and help train plastic surgeon. Okay, we can go with that. But yeah, there's the human epidermis, dermis, superficial. So it doesn't have as many layers, which obvious wouldn't need. Takuchi is a pioneer in the field of biohybrid robotics, where biology and mechanical engineering meet. So far, his lab, Biohybrid Systems Laboratory, has created mini robots that walk using biological muscle tissue, 3D printed lab-grown meat. Ew. Engineered skin that can heal and more. It was during research on the last of these three items that Takuchi felt the need to take the idea of robotic skin further to improve its properties and capabilities. During previous research on a finger-shaped robot covered in engineered skin tissue we grew at our lab. You know, G-Spot. Come here. I feel the need for better adhesion between robotic features and the subcutaneous structure of the skin. By mimicking human skin ligament structures, and by using specifically made V-shaped perforations in solid materials, we found a way to bind the skin to complex structures. The natural flexibility of the skin and the strong method of adhesion mean the skin can move away with mechanical components of the robot without tearing or peeling. Okay, here, something smell. That's a bad joke. That's a bad joke! for that caption. The new anchoring method allows flexible skin to conform to any shape attached to. In this case, a relatively flat organic face is made to smile, and the deformations within without constraining the robot returning to its original shape afterwards. See, like that. Previous methods to attach the skin tissue to a solid surfaces involved things like mini anchors or hooks, but these limited the kinds of surfaces that could receive skin coatings and could cause damage during motion. By carefully engineering small perforations instead, essentially, I guess, I know that they say small perforations. Would it be better to more call it, like pores to some degree? I mean, it doesn't have the same purpose to some degree, but that kind of small perforations. Essentially, any shape of a surface can have skin applied to it. The trick the team employed was to use special collagen gel for adhesion, which is naturally viscous. So difficult to... Well, they're putting in special collagen gel for adhesion. That's the reason why I was thinking it would work better. But using common technique for plastic adhesion called plasma treatment, they managed to coat the collagen into fine structures of into the fine structures of the preparation, while also holding the skin close to the surface in question. Manipulating soft, wet biological tissues during the development process is much harder than people outside the field might think. For instance, if sterility is not maintained, bacteria can enter and the tissue will die. Takuchi. I'm trying to think. I haven't watched Doctor Who, and I stopped about when Matt Smith came around. Self-healing. However, now that we can do this, living skin can bring a range of new abilities to the robot. So, self-healing is a big deal. Yeah, so they'll need to figure out something that's kind of like a white blood cells or something. Lady Cassandra. That sounds familiar. Self-healing is a big deal, and some chemical-based materials can be made to self-heal themselves, but they require triggers such as heat, pressure, or other signals, and they do not perforate like cells. Biological skin repairs minor lacerations as ours does, and the nerve and other skin organs can be added for use in sensing and so on. This research is not just made to prove a point, though. Takeuchi and his staff have a goal in mind for this application, that it could be helped in several areas of medical research. The idea of an organ on a chip is not especially new, and the findings used in things like drug development. But something like a face on a chip could be used in research into skin aging, cosmetics, and surgical procedures, plastic surgeries, and more. Also, if sensors can be embedded, robots may be endowed with better environmental awareness and improved interactive capabilities. So, basically, and I'm gonna jump through this hoop. The author of the other one decided to go down the route of androids and robots. Well, this, by the sound of it, as much as he's doing this part, it's more based in the medical part of this than the other. So I feel like there was a bias on the person who wrote the New York Times article, and I get to make a joke about them wanting to have robot partners, right? Do I? Because they definitely went on that side of things more than anything else. In the study, we managed to replicate human appearances to some extent by creating a face with the same surface material and structures as humans. Additionally, through this research, we identified new challenges, such as the necessary for surface wrinkles and a thicker epidermis to achieve a more human-like appearance. Yeah, true. Clickbaiting. We believe that creating a thicker and more realistic skin can be achieved by incorporating sweat glands, sebaceous glands, pores. I guess they consider pores to be something different. Blood vessels, fat, and nerves. Of course, movement is also a critical factor, not just the material, so that another important challenge is creating human-like expressions by integrating sophisticated actuators, or muscles, inside the robots. Creating robots that can heal themselves, sensing their environment more accurately, and performing tasks with human-like dexterity is incredibly motivating. But like I said, they seem to be more on the medical side of things than the other. Because one of the things that they can test out with having it human-like skin on this, before they move on to, you know, trials on actual humans, is using it on robots to some degree to make sure that the wear and tear of it works to some... Because that's what it more feels like what they're trying to do. That's just my opinion on that. By the way, we were talking about something, something, something. Look, a Hadron Collider! Physicists have confirmed quantum entanglement persists between top quarks, the heaviest known fundamental particles. An experiment by a group of physicists. This is only for the largest? Yeah, I figured. But it's kind of interesting. Regina Demina has produced a significant result related to quantum entanglement, an effect that Albert Einstein called spooky action at a distance. Alright, Einstein, I like that. Entanglement concerns the coordinated behavior of minuscule particles that have interacted but then moved apart. Measuring properties like position or momentum or spin, one of the separate pairs of particles instantaneously charged as a result of other particle, no matter how far the second particle has drifted from its twin. In effect, the state of one entangled particle, or qubit, is inseparable from the other. Quantum entanglement has also been observed between stable particles such as photons or electrons, but Demina and her group broke new ground in that they found for the first time entanglement to persist between unstable top quarks and their antimatter partner at distances farther than what can be discovered by information transferred at the speed of light. Specifically, the researchers observed spin correlation between the particles. Hence, the particles demonstrated what Einstein described as spooky at a distance. The finding was reported by the Compact Solenoid collaboration at the European Centre for Nuclear Research, or CERN, where the experiment was conducted. Confirming the quantum entanglement between the heaviest fundamental particles, the top quarks, has opened a new... By the way, I'm gonna open that while I'm at it. New avenue to explore the quantum nature of our world at energies far beyond what is accessible. CERN, located in Geneva, Switzerland, is the world's largest particle physics laboratory. Production of top quarks requires very high energies accessible at the Large Hadron Collider, which enables scientists to send high-energy particles spinning around a 17-mile underground track at close to the speed of light. Aren't they supposed to, there's talks about making it longer or something? Or have they already done that? Or am I can always search it myself. Okay, my mind had a moment. Oh, that's new. No, it isn't, sorry. Probably. I am far out of it to actually remember how to spell this correctly. Okay, it's a different one. Was proposed as a future Hadron Collider planned to be located at Fermi Lab. That was last year. Yeah, a new tunnel. There! I was right! New tunnel! Don't make me. A new tunnel is planned with a circumference of 90.7 kilometers with an average depth of 200 meters and 8 surface sites for up to 4 experiments. The tunnel would initially house the FCCE, an electron positron collider for precision measurements, offering a 15-year research program from mid-2040s. A second machine, the FCCH, would then be installed in the same tunnel, reusing existing infrastructure, similar to when the LHC replaced the LEP. I'm not sure. The ongoing FCC feasibility study, expected to conclude in 2025, is investigating the technical and financial viability of the FCC at CERN, including geological feasibility, environmental impact, design of infrastructure, civil engineering detectors. Okay. I mean... Okay, so there it is, the schematic for that. Cool. I guess because there might be a radiation thing. Free of the worry. Also, just energy produced. Oh, it's a low carbon footprints, cheap energy mix of, okay. What? Spend this money in the future, it's credible, reuse. I guess you need water during it, because it is doing kind of like the same way that you do, Actually, how about we do this? How about we watch this? I hope it's actually informative.
Humanity has made some objects travel at nearly the speed of light. 99.999999% the speed of light, in fact.
That's 4 years ago.
That's so fast that if we race light to the moon with these objects, light would only win by a total of 4 meters. How did we manage to do that?
Don't trap yourselves in. I'm gonna make a jump to light speed.
In science fiction, people travel faster than light all the time. But here in reality, physics doesn't let anything go faster than light. In fact,
well, they have warp speed.
We haven't come anywhere close to that speed. The fastest man-made object in existence, a probe being sent to study the sun, will travel at over 700,000 kilometers an hour.
Sorry, not
that may sound fast, but light goes at over 1 billion kilometers an hour. So our probe is only traveling at a small fraction of 1% the speed of light. The objects we turn to when we feel the need for this much speed are subatomic particles. Protons are subatomic particles that are present in every atom. They're accelerated to nearly the speed of light by the biggest particle accelerator we've ever built, the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. The fact that they're charged is the key to making this work. 2 positively charged particles will repel each other, same with 2 negatively charged ones. That's the key to letting us use electromagnetic fields to push these protons around. Let's take a look at how the LHC does this. The LHC isn't an entirely new machine. Instead, it's built out of the bones of every previous particle accelerator built by its operators at CERN. Over the years, CERN has built several of what were the biggest particle accelerators of their time. Now, those earlier accelerators help speed up the protons and put them on the way into the LHC. Protons start off by traveling down a linear tube where electromagnetic fields give them a constant push forward. From there, they enter into a series of loops, with each loop giving a bit more speed to them before they're injected into the 26-kilometer-long ring of the LHC. The 26-kilometer-long tube is packed with magnets. Some of these magnets help keep the protons moving straight.
I remember the magnet part of that.
Others help impart a bit of a curve so that they go around the circular path of the LHC. The tube carries two sets of protons, which run around the ring in opposite directions. They cross paths at several points to create collisions. And there's one spot in the entire ring where protons are given a little kick and sped up. At that location, the protons pass through what's called the resonator. The resonator hosts what you can consider a wave in the electromagnetic field. Things are timed so that a bunch of protons enters the resonator just ahead of a peak in the electromagnetic wave. From there, they surf the peak of the wave across, picking up speed as they do. As the protons exit, the wave reverses and rushes across to the opposite side of the resonator. This lets it push the protons traveling in the opposite direction. By speeding up the rate at which the wave reverses, you can accelerate the protons to ever higher speeds. And by timing the flips carefully, you can use it to accelerate things going in opposite directions. You may have noticed a little problem here, in that protons are a bit like cars. If they keep trying to take a turn ever and ever faster, eventually they'll hit a speed where they can't make the turn and end up flying off the road. So we need something to do a little bit of extra steering each time the protons run through. And that's done by the magnets of the LHC. The magnets have to be adjusted so they're a little stronger each time the protons go through. This keeps them from spinning off course in the curves. One consequence of this is that the top speed of the LHC isn't set by the resonator, which does the speeding up. Instead, it's set by the magnets that keep things under control in the curves. Another problem you might have noticed is that we said that the LHC deals with bunches of protons, all of which have the same charge. And we mentioned that two positive charges will always repel each other. So why doesn't this repulsion keep the bunches of protons from just flying apart? This problem is solved by Einstein's theory of relativity. One of the consequences of relativity is that if you keep accelerating things near the speed of light, instead of going faster, they'll just get heavier. As a result, the LHC makes the protons more massive as it speeds them up. And as they get more massive, it takes more force to push them around. Just like a bowling ball is harder to push around than a ping pong ball. One consequence of this is that the push that comes from having the protons all be the same charge has less and less of an effect as they get more massive. So accelerators like the LHC solve one of their problems simply by doing their job. All of this adds up to allowing us to bring protons up to a speed that few of us can possibly imagine.
Why I think maybe the water is important is the same reason why water is important with nuclear plants. The phenomenon of entanglement has become the foundation of a burgeoning field of quantum information science that has broad implications in areas such as cryptography and quantum computing. I mean, space travel, I don't know, understanding the basics of the universe? Understanding things we don't understand? Finding alternate universes? Yeah. No. Alright. The phenomena, okay. Top quirks creating new things, kind of like chemistry. Top quirks, each as heavy as an atom of gold, can only be produced at colliders such as the LHC, and thus are unlikely to be used to build a quantum computer. But studies like those conducted by Demina and her group can shed light on how long entanglement persists, whether it passes on to the particle's daughters or decay products, and what, if anything, ultimately breaks the entanglement. Theorists believe that the universe was in an entangled state after its initial fast expansion state. The new result observed by Demina and her researchers will help scientists understand what led to the loss of quantum connection in our world. Top quirks in a quantum long-distance relationship. Demina recorded a video for CMS social media channels to explain her group's result. She used the analogy of an indecisive king of a distant land whom she called King Top. King Top. Oh, he's not a dop. King Top gets word that his country is being invaded, so he sends messengers to tell all the people of his land to prepare to defend. But then, Demina explains in the video, he changes his mind and sends messengers in order to order the people to stand down. He keeps flip-flopping like this, and nobody knows what his decisions will be at the next moment. Nobody, Demina goes on to explain, except the leader of one village in this kingdom, who's known as Anti-Top. They know each other's state of mind at any moment in time. Oh, yes. The Dark Shadow version. Demina's research group consists of herself and a graduate student, Alan Herrera, and postdoctorate fellow Otto Hendricks. As a graduate student, Demina was on the team that discovered the top quirk in 1995. Later, as a faculty member at Rochester, Demina co-led a team of scientists from across the US that built a tracking device that played a key role in the 2012 discovery of the Higgs boson, an elementary particle that helps explain the origin of mass in the universe. Rochester researchers have a long history at CERN as part of the MS collaboration, which brings together physicists from around the globe. Recently, another Rochester team achieved significant milestone in measuring the electroweak mixing angle, a crucial component of the standard model of particle physics, which explains how the building blocks of matter interact.